doing?
Well, I'm going to introduce you to and I'm very proud that I practice your name. So let me say it, okay? Tiina Wilen is with us, part of the real story behind her business, which is a show that is about, female entrepreneurs who are actually, my computer is saying that I need to reconnect. What's going on, Tiina? What's going on?
Saturday. I think it's Saturday.
No, it never does that. I think it's because we're too high vibes and then we're breaking the internet.
Exactly. We broke the internet already. Damn.
Okay, I think we're good. So all the way from Sweden, you taking the time, and I know you have precious people waiting for you. Mommy is doing an interview because she needs to share her story with the world. And one more time, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, Tiina, so that we know exactly who do you serve in this world.
Oh, thank you. So my name is Tiina, and I don't know if I should look at my camera on Instagram.
Yeah,
look at the computer.
Yeah.
So my name is Tiina Wilen, and I serve mostly. Oh, now we lost. Did we lose you? Because I can't.
No, I'm here. No? I'm just hiding.
Okay, good. So we I run a business called Avenue, and we help ambitious entrepreneurs grow. And we have most likely the people who we work with are female entrepreneurs, although we do have some fantastic men as well who work with us. Mostly female entrepreneurs who are in a transit state. Either they are going from corporate, they're somewhere in their 40s, 50s, they've had really good corporate careers, and they want to do something else with their lives, and we help them package them, get there super fast, and selling their expertise. Sometimes they go completely to another direction. For example, a corporate leader, company own some kind of a managed, whoever pro might totally go into a design or do something completely different, but they are all very serious. And they are really ready to build amazing companies. So that is one profile, and the other profile is business owners who have been in business for a very long time, sometimes 20 years, and they want to start scaling up. And that's when we're coming and start putting together infrastructure, business models, and help them scale up. And we never know exactly how it's going to look like when we're ready, but they all have really cool new versions of their businesses and new versions of their lives.
Awesome. Tiina, look at me, maybe in front of you. Like I see that you're more looking at your phone here. And I know it's just because when I'm going to do some editing, I want to make sure that you and I will look at the same place. That's why. So basically, Tiina, you're a magician. You help people like to pivot in their life.
Yeah. Let's say that. Yeah, I can go with that. Yes. I like that. I'm an engineer, so I like building things. I'm a problem solver engineer, so I build things. I'm not a person who likes to maintain things. I like to break things, build them, and then I like to move on. So that's what I do. But yeah, magic sounds nice. Yeah.
So my first question, I always start with, who do you serve in this world? And then after that, I take you way back when you were 5 or 8. And I'm always curious to hear about what was your favorite playtime, or what was the thing that you were always playing with or imagining when you were a little girl.
Okay. Oh, I haven't thought about that for a long time, but I build things. So I loved decorating my home, my room. So I've been always in a kind of decorating, creating beautiful environments. So that was my favorite play kind of when I was a kid. I love to sew clothes. My mother used to sew a lot of clothes, and in the 80s she sew these beautiful blouses and all that. So I love to do that. So I've always been quite crafty, and I wanted to do something with my hands, and I like that. Then I was always a top student, so I liked school a lot. So that was kind of, that was me when I was 8.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, you kind of align with what you're doing today, right? In your
Yeah,
business, right?
yeah.
So before you got in business, so when was that? When did you start to envision that you would be a business owner, an entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur? You said you were an engineer before. So what was kind of the burning desire before you started your business? Bring us there.
Oh, okay. So this was I am from Finland. I was born in Helsinki, Finland, and when I was 19, I went to a really prestigious school, high school, and with a lot of very top students and a lot of diplomat kids. So it was like really prestigious school, and I, of course, the level was super high, and then we learn a lot of languages in Finland, because nobody speaks Finnish. So, and I remember that we had this test, and my Swedish teacher said to me that, in front of the whole class, my Swedish teacher said, "Tiina, you will never learn Swedish." Because I kind of, I didn't do really good. Well, I did actually pretty good, but compared to the others in the classroom, so it was like, I had just like a normal grade. And then I went home. I was 19. I told my mom, I'm gonna move to Sweden. So no, bye. So that was kind of my first movement. I wanted to do something. Like I felt like, okay, you tell me I can't do this, I'm gonna do that, so I'm gonna go. And that was now 3 years ago, so I'm still here. And so I ended up in Sweden. I went to university. I wanted to have an academical education career. I went into engineering and all that. So, all the super fun times, went to the oldest university in Scandinavia, a lot of partying, a lot of fun time in university. Then 2006, 2007, I moved to Shanghai, China, and did my thesis work there. And that's when I started thinking about that. Listen, I really love because I was working for an organization doing my thesis, and then I was also working for different doing the thesis project for some entrepreneurial companies in China, and I found that super interesting. So when I came back to Stockholm, I went to work in IT. I started as programming. I became a project manager, a product manager. Went into IT consulting, management consulting. But I felt a little off all the time because I felt I'm an innovator. I like to go think. That's just how I'm wired. So actually many years ago now, it was somewhere 2011, my husband and I, well, my then boyfriend, but now husband, we were traveling in the USA. And you know what happens in the US? It's the land of, big dreams and all this fantastic, the big stuff. Like, I come from Scandinavia and we are like, we don't dream big here. So we went traveling coast to coast in US. This was pre-kids. We had a lot of fun. And I told my husband, we started talking about these big dreams in New York, and a couple of weeks later we were in LA. I was still talking about these big dreams, and he was like, so what is this thing you're talking about? What would you like to do really? Like, and I was like, I want to start a company. And he's like, okay, let's do it. So I registered my first company online when we were in Santa Cruz, California. And I wanted to go into interior design, interior decor. So that was I really enjoyed technology. I loved ID consulting, but it was like, I did that, and that was what I did as a professional, IT consultant. But I felt like I really would like to go into interior decor, to that world, and I had no idea what that meant. I had a blog because I had started interior design blogging a couple of years before. I had that big interest, and I've always loved that world. So I said, I am going to start a business. I'm going to bring in a style from the US to Scandinavia. I'm going to make it big because I love that style. And I said, like, we're going to bring that style and that trend into Scandinavia. And I will build that kind of business. So I did that, but then again, I first of all, I had no idea what I was doing. Of course, how do you know? I was quite, this arrogant, corporate, super talented person who was doing career. It's like, how difficult can it be? I mean, I'm really good at my job. I'm really good. I advanced quickly and all that. And so how difficult can it be? And well, it's like I learned a lot. But so that's how I started. So I started the interior decor home textile brand, and it took a couple of years before I actually started it for real, because we had some babies. We did some property development. We flipped some homes, 4 homes in 2-3 years. My husband and I, we had 2 kids, so there are a lot of that kind of things. But 2015, I went full time, and I have not looked back.
Wow. I didn't know you were in the home decor world.
No.
Wow. So now I understand the stories on Instagram when you want to renovate your bedroom. And I love
Yeah,
those stories.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So I want to reflect back on things you said. I'm just curious
yeah,
because for me, dreaming is a big part of who I am. I had to learn how to let the dream come in,
yeah,
kind of like you, but I'm not from Scandinavia. I'm from France.
yeah.
And I think we're kind of dreamers in France. But you said that in Scandinavia, you don't dream. Or what did you mean there?
Well, we do dream, but we don't. It's So here's the thing. The mentality in Scandinavia, Sweden, Finland is Finland is it's not part of Scandinavia, but Nordic countries. But anyway,
Yeah.
here where I am, the mentality is it's a little bit like, just we have actually a word for this in Swedish, and that word is not translated to any other language in the whole world, and it's called lagom. Lagom means like mellow, like it's like the middle. Like, so it's a kind of a mentality where, like, don't ever dare dream big, don't think you are anything, like, just don't stand out. And what I find really interesting, because as you know, I have a lot of American friends and Northern Americans, and you, ladies and gentlemen, are very like, they're like,
I love
yeah,
the
big
noises.
dreams, and like, woohoo. And we're all like, nah, I'm just gonna be here, mind my own thingy, and so on. So but I think that that's a little bit of a mentality. It's a little bit like, who do you think you are? And I think we absolutely dream big, and we have really famous innovators and companies coming from here, but it's not the common mentality to think really big and global, and that kind of like,
You remind
that's
me, of a podcast that I listened to with the Spotify founder, which is he's Swedish, I believe. I forgot his name because I'm so bad with names, but
Daniel.
yeah, and he's talking about exactly that and how. For him, oh, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing this. It's nice to talk about that because you had. So would you say that it was kind of a struggle for you, like to let you dream, and then like tell me more about that, the biggest struggle from going to the idea, yes darling, I'm gonna create my own business, and then what was the biggest struggle at the time, do you think? Was it just the mindset of the culture, or was it something else?
To be honest, I don't remember what it was then, because I think that since I have been a real entrepreneur, a business owner, as somebody who is doing this, I'm not doing that decor anymore. We will get into what I do now.
But
I think there's always a struggle. So I don't really remember what the struggle was then, but I do know that the things that I am mentally, with my capacity, financially, those things that we're struggling now, because there's always something. It's not the same things that I struggled for when I started. And so for sure, there were one thing that I there's something that I've been reflecting now that I am a coach. Now I coach today a lot. So of course I have to go super deep into myself as well. Like, how do I behave? What do I think? What's blocking me? And those things. So one thing, for example, that I created a truth for myself, and that truth was that I did not know what I was doing. So I kept telling myself every time that we grew that business quickly and we got all kinds of cool things for that business. But I still kind of always had this narrative where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm just like, figuring things out, which is true. But then again, I was onto something. I did know what I was doing. I wasn't, it's like, so I think that I'm not telling myself anymore. I have a completely different type of now. Like, I don't know everything. Obviously, there's always something new, but I don't tell that I don't know what I'm doing, or, I have know what to do next. That's not my default anymore. So that's something that I've changed my mindset a lot during the last years. Yeah.
I like that. It's great because, the real story behind our business is, yes, to help more women entrepreneurs to share their personal stories and journey, but it's also to inspire other women to jump in. So I love what you're saying here, because it's probably, we all start there. Probably I don't know what I'm doing, but we know because we follow a thread. There is something you were following at the time, which brings me there, Tiina, like Tiina.
Hey, Hannah, I just wanted to say hi to my friends here. I can see that we have some people. So we have, my husband is there. I can see Luxon, and Hanne is my dear friend in Sweden. She's also Finnish as well. She's looking. Sasan Company, I know as well. Let me just check who else is here. Okay, let's go back. Sorry, I just got so happy.
It's awesome because I was into your story and like, yes, we need to acknowledge our listeners because, without you, we're nothing.
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah, now we're looking back again. It's difficult when you have two cameras. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So tell me, like, now, what was the bridge between your first business, home decor, and then today? Like, you're still building and putting things together and systems, but what happened?
Happened many things. One thing, and I'm going to be very honest, okay? One thing that happened to me with the design business was that it's because, well, I always knew that it's a business. It's not like the creative only, but I wanted to be in that industry because I wanted to learn that. I still find it super interesting and fun. But the business model, it wasn't challenging enough for me. So that was one thing, because you have to understand, I come from this engineering world. I've been doing software as a service development. I've been working with the largest banks in the Nordics. I've been huge, very complex systems and integrations and stuff, which is something like it was very fascinating because we were dealing with like trading systems and platforms for stuff. And I felt after a while that business wasn't really it just wasn't for me. It's just, there were things that I really enjoyed about it, but then it just wasn't enough, that kind of what I felt like. So I don't know, I just didn't feel that. But then this other thing as well, what I felt like maybe the biggest problem with that is that when you have a physical goods business, because we didn't have any services, physical goods business is, it can be very good because you're not selling your time, you're selling assets, you're selling products, but boy, it is expensive. So it's so expensive, and I knew it because I'm really good with numbers, but I had no idea really what it would take to grow that, because you have to keep the stock, and you have to, even though we did super big production in India and China, so we could have a pretty low prices, like a per item prices, but still you have to fill your stock. There are like tens and hundreds of thousands you have in your stock. You have to sell it pretty quickly. You have to turn the products over and over. There's the time with shipping and manufacturing and the seasons and the trends and uh, and and then you have to move the goods and you have to store the goods, so and then you have to market. So I felt like it did not really matter how much we sold, we were always going plus minus zero, and some many times on a minus. So I just felt like, no, I don't like the business model, because if you're going to run that business model, you need to have a lot of liquid, as you have to have a lot of cash. And then also I had this feeling that I love consulting, I love coaching, I love teaching. That's what I've been doing all my life, and that's what I want to do. So then I decided to just change, but it didn't happen like that. There was actually a trigger. I can tell you the trigger if you want.
Yes, I love triggers and how it felt that day.
Okay, so it was a trigger. This was a story of my brand was invited to launch on a German market. So there was this organization or a PR person in Sweden who said, we are going to take 10 brands from Sweden, and it's going to be called 10 Swedish brands, and we are going to book a big booth in a trade fair, design trade fair in Germany. It was in Hamburg, I think it was Hamburg. And IKEA was one of the sponsors. So there were like big sponsors sponsoring the booth, and then there were these brands. Some of were small brands, some big brands, and we would go there together. And they asked me to be part of that 10 brands. So I was like, yes, we're going to go to Germany.
Yeah.
Very cool. So off we went. And then what happened there, because I had my salesperson, we had a sales team all over Europe. So I had my German representative was there at the fair. I, of course, joined as well because I wanted to make sure that everything was okay. But I only said that I'm only going to stay for 2 days, and the trade fair was maybe 3 or 4 days. So I said, I'm going to come there, just make sure everything looks nice. We're going to design my part of the booth. We're going to be there, represent, have conversations with the media, and then I'm going to go home, and she will stay there and sell and open the doors to a lot of companies. And so we went there, and this company who organized this, they said that there will be like a hostesses at the booth, and there will be people who are talking to the media and like presenting, what we are doing there.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I started, when I don't know if you've done any trade fairs, but it's really big business, it's like, and it's fancy as, design trade fairs. It's so fancy. It's wonderful. You've got the champagnes, and it's just so, I loved it, but it's a lot of work and it's very expensive. So then we were there, and they opened the doors, and there were media coming in, then the bloggers coming in, and all the people doing interviews, and the procurement teams and hotel buyers and all people are coming, and there was nobody actually working the booth. So it's like I thought I paid for somebody to be there, besides, of course, my own salesperson, somebody who would represent what is this 10 brands, what is this about? So, but there wasn't really. So I don't speak German, but I kind of I like talking, obviously. So I just started walking around the booth and like, hey, sa guten Tag or something, It's like we are 10 brands from Sweden. That's my brand. That's that brand. They are doing this. They're doing that. Who are you? Do you blog? Do you write for magazine? Do you want to buy something? Do you own a hotel? Like all that. So I was working and having fun and doing that, and then at the end of that day, the other brand owners, they were watching me, and they said, like, Tiina, we know you have to go home tomorrow, but you are so good at this. Please, can we buy a new ticket for you home and pay you to stay here and just work your magic, because you are selling all of our stuff. And I was like, no, because I want to go home to my babies. I'm going to go home and start coaching sales. So that was a kind of
wow.
My internet died on the Instagram. I'm just going to try to get it back again.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm here. I'm holding the light on Instagram.
Holding the light on Instagram, exactly. Sorry.
Hi, there is M14 joining us. stand by. You're coming back. You're frozen on my screen, and you're like, I just love it, Tiina. I know you're plugging away, but you may have to rejoin. I'll accept you again.
Yeah. It died because I had to charge again. So
I love
so
your story. Like in the middle of the adrenaline and people begging you to stay.
Yeah.
You said, and well, you guys are my client now. I'm going home and prepare my packages.
I'm gonna start teaching other entrepreneurs how to sell. And here's the funny part. You know, since I am an engineer and a creator, like I'm a designer and an engineer, so my default is I hate sales, I suck at sales, I don't do sales. That has always been my default. So when I started my first business, I tried to hide. So that's why I hired a big sales team, because I was like, I'm not going to sell anything. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to be the one who is building the company. But it doesn't work like that. You know, you are a salesperson when you build a business. You are that for a long time. And even if you have a sales team, you still need to be out there and sell your concept, your idea, your brand. And nobody is better salesperson than yourself for being there. And so I remember my friends were so laughing at me. They were like, Tiina, you are always hated and feared sales, and now you decided that you're going to start teaching sales to entrepreneurs. And I'm like, because I understand how difficult it is. And I know also that when you start putting together systems and processes and the right messaging and the right packaging of your whatever you're doing, sales becomes so natural and so fantastic. So then I was like, it made sense. And now I do that.
Okay, do that. People are waiting for you here.
I know, sorry.
But you're so right. Like when I do onboarding session for my program, the Audience DNA Lab, with female entrepreneurs want to kind of put in place their first sales funnel foundation on social media. The first thing they all tell me is, I don't want to sell. Like I don't know how to sell. And I'm the first one to go. Like it's a journey, right? Yeah. You get into it and then you have to learn it. But nobody, I think, starts, or maybe, I don't know. Do you know someone who was born a seller? Like, well, does that exist?
I think it does. But then again, I think there are different people do. I mean, the definition of sales is very different for different people. So for sure, there are people who go basically directly from school. They take all kinds of sales roles, and they just love the sales. And they could be people who are cold calling, and they could be people who are hunting and, you know, knocking on the doors and all that. I never do that. I don't do that sales at all. I am a situation salesperson when a person is already, and I know you love this because you're a marketer. So I do a sales when in an environment when a person just begs me to sell to them.
Wow,
and that's a big difference. Yeah. So it's a big difference. And that's why we always, in my coaching and consulting programs, I'm trying to get this to work, but it's just
I know. I see you activating. Tiina is coming back.
I am coming
on Instagram.
So that's why in my coaching consulting programs, I never really, I mean, we never focus on cold sales in that kind. We build an environment for the sales to make sense. Yep. And the environment is, depending on what you sell, if you sell, like I was selling home decor, or if it is coaching consulting like we do now, or whatever it is, the environment looks different. And for example, the environment for physical goods was that we were at this trade fair where people were just like, they are buying. So of course they are in a mode of buying, and then you need to be in a mode of selling. It's natural, but you have to also work your way so that you know that when you go to the booth, there are a lot of things you have to do before you open the booth, before you even enter the trade fair, and after the trade fair. The actual sales doesn't happen during the trade fair. It happens before and after, but the trade fair is just like representation and fun.
Okay, I'm gonna let you. How is it going? The phone? Do you think you can cope? Does that work?
No.
Okay.
Can you give me a second? I'm gonna try to
Yeah.
find my set.
Sure.
Give me a moment.
Yes. So you guys, Tiina will be back on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube. And in the meantime, I'm gonna actually, I put it there. If you want to reach out to Tiina, there is a website, and I'll put that in the description of the IGTV video later. But it's called this. I'm gonna put it here and remove this one. Your Avenue for Growth is the name of the 20-day free growth program. And then there is a website, avenuegrowthsystem.com. If you want to check out what Tiina is doing, and that's one of, I'm selling your stuff, Tiina, right now.
Technical crap. I am so sorry. It had half battery left, and it just killed everything. So I think my mobile.
It happens. It's okay. I was saying that I was selling your stuff when you were gone. I'm like, Tiina's coming back, but in the meantime, I put the Avenue Growth website so that they can check your 20-day free growth programs.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, so technology. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it okay on Instagram, or should we?
It's coming back.
It's coming back. So let's wait. I'll leave Instagram open. Okay. Awesome. I just love the story you shared is we call that an epiphany. Like it was clear to you. It was probably, fermenting in you for a while, and then you couldn't exactly pin it. And then that day we were like clear. So tell me, what was something that you immediately put in place when you said, I know what I'm going to do next?
Yeah. So I had a little head start because during the same period when was growing my decor business, I started getting questions from other creators or other people basically who said like, how did you go from IT engineer and doing that what you do to launch this business selling in 17 countries through now I hear myself launching in different countries, selling through distribution channels and partners, and of course e-commerce as well. We didn't actually focus on e-commerce that much. We were mostly focusing on partner channels, and also we got so cool. We created such cool partnerships with different brands. So our biggest partnership brand was with Volvo, Volvo cars, which is obviously a huge thing because Volvo is pretty big deal, if you are a Swedish person. So, Volvo is, if you can go create that kind of partnership, it is pretty amazing. So I think we're back here with Instagram. I'm just going to try to log in here.
Okay, yeah.
So what happened is that people started taking notice, and they started asking me. Now let me just try if I can get. Let me just.
Take your time to do the thing. Right now, I'm showing your screen and your audio. That's how you heard an echo.
I think I can see that. I think now I can come back. I hope that we are live.
Yes, you request, so I'm gonna put it that way.
Thank you. Thanks for being such a good sport waiting for me there. Anyway, so I started. Let me see.
Hi, Helen. Joining. I just love the technical things. We keep going through technical. Starting on that, eh? But this is to show you that we're not gonna stop the live. We're like keep going.
We go. Yeah, exactly. That's right. We are live too. It's like I don't know where we are. So
you have a big partnership that kind of propels your initiative, right?
Yeah, I think I didn't get the access yet, but I have sent the so that you can approve me to join.
Yeah,
so.
I clicked on it. It's
now. Okay, now
it says waiting for Tiina, so it should work now.
So let's hope my mobile will. Now it is charging, but it's we'll see if we will. We're back. Yeah. So what happened is that other creators started taking notice. So they are like, how did you do that? Because I had zero contacts in the design industry. I had zero experience in physical goods manufacturing and dealing with like big manufacturers in India and China and all that. Like, no, I had no idea what logistics was and all that. So they started asking me, and particularly I had no idea what marketing was, which is interesting. What I did
Yeah,
there.
you're
So
getting
like
there.
marketing, building brand, and those things. So then, and yeah, actually, it was true that I had no idea what I was doing. So, but somehow it worked, and it was some kind of a success, what I would say. But people took notice, and I started getting questions. Like people asked, like, can you help me? Can you guide me, and so on. And I never thought that. I didn't know what coaching was, and I kind of was like, I've been a consultant, so of course I can consult. I mean, it's not difficult. So I created a package. I gave it a name, and I put it a price tag on that. And I said, sure, here it is. And if you want to buy it, you can buy it. And they were like, okay, let's go. And then I did that with just like random people, random customers. And then when I had this situation in Germany, and when I came back home, and then I started kind of feeling this uncomfortable feeling when I had a business and we were growing, and we were launching, as I said, we were selling in 17 countries. So like we've been building that, and I had put all my passion and all my money and all my time and everything into that. And I mean, listen, I had two babies, during this period, and I remember when I was at just, I was about to go into labor, and in a hospital I was kind of chatting as the customer support people who were buying something. So this was like, so a lot. So all my maternity leave, we have this crazy long maternity and paternity leaves here in Scandinavia. We're like 2 years off or something. I never had that. I was just like baby over shoulder, another one here, and pushing, trying to do, build my business. My choice, yes, but so it's a lot of passion, a lot of time, a lot of sleepless nights. And then all of a sudden I realized that this is wrong. And that hurt me so much, because I said, now what? I'm climbing this mountain that is super, super hard. It's dangerous. It's hard. It takes everything that I have, but I see it's the wrong mountain, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with that.
Oh,
So
love it.
it was not only a good, feeling that I
Yeah.
started realizing that, oh, wow, I can do that. It was really emotional, because I was like, okay, so I am building and building and building, but it's a damn wrong thing.
I
So
love.
it took me about 1 year off,
Yeah, I
really,
was
like
I was about
real.
to ask you. You know
Yeah.
what? I just love that. Thank you for sharing so much vulnerability, because, like, on that day, you realized that you were climbing the wrong. I like yeah, like you were on maybe it was the right mountain, but maybe not the right path, like
Yeah.
the trail.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
how did you? How did you? How do you shift? Like, what is the first thing you had to shift to make
Uh,
it the right way you wanted to go?
well, I think I did the same thing as I did with when the person said that I will never speak Swedish. And I just told them I'm gonna move to Sweden, bye. And then I left. I never went back. So I just said, like, I'm gonna start a new business, and I'm gonna kill the other one. That's it. And then, I mean, it took, with killing one business, even though I could have sold it, but I had no idea how to do that. I had no desire to do that. I felt so infected by the whole, it was such a, it, I felt bad, so bad. So I did not even want to deal with that at all. So what we did is, first I completely just shut all the operations and said like, okay, no more products coming. If somebody wants to buy something, for sure, we have a stock full of things, we can ship them, but I'm not going to do anything about that. I decided to go full on and start building Avenue. And that was literally like, today I'm going to start coaching, I'm going to do that. And that day I got like my 2 first customers were like, we are on. I mean, after those ones who came to me organically before and earlier in my process. But when I decided that it's going to be my new business Avenue, then I just, published some ads and got started. Like that's how we roll, right? So and then I didn't do anything with my decor business for 1 full year because I did not want to deal with that at all. So I was like, I can't look at it. The stock was in a third part, warehouse. So so it was just off my table completely. But then, of course, I did have a lot of money in that stock, and I had a lot of products, and it was costing me all the time, even though we're not selling anything. But you have to pay for the actual, stock keeping and so on. So about I would say exactly 1 year into my new business, I decided to just sell my. It died again. I'm sorry. Internet does. It just
Don't be
doesn't.
sorry. It just happens.
It's
no worry, because you know what we're gonna do, friends on Instagram. I think what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna put the Facebook and YouTube video on in IGTV after, so that you can listen to the next, because it's juicy. I love, you are sharing so much of what so many of us go through. And what I wanted to ask you is, if someone is watching or even watching the replay, what are the signals we should pay attention that could tell us you're on the wrong mountain or wrong trail? Like, what would you say that we should pay attention to, kind of try to, because some days we're like questioning, what am I doing? So what would be your top 3 signals to look after?
Well, I like to look at data metrics and emotional metrics. So data metrics is very simple, but it's not always so simple to base it also, because the results can be a little bit different, and it takes some time and so on, and it goes up and down. And now we are in the middle of this shit show with all that. So who knows what happens? I mean, everything is so up and down with COVID and such. But so I think data metrics, of course, really important, just to see, does it actually work? Like this, do you sell, and do you go with black numbers? Is it even remotely profitable, your business? Like, or does it? If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. And then, of course, you have to be realistic. Did you really try? Like, did you really do everything? Because a lot of people are like, oh, it didn't work, and then we're like, well, did you do all these things? Like, so they're like, well, no, I was just hoping and praying it would to work. And that's not enough, I think. But so data is one. The second thing is the emotional metrics. How do you feel? Do you like it? Like, I'm a mother, and I think my kids are the most smartest, most wonderful kids in the whole. I'm so proud of them. And I would fight anybody who would say anything else. Now they don't, because I actually get this wonderful feedback about my kids. But I'm so proud of them, and I just really, I could go out there like with a dog now. Now we have a dog as well.
Yeah,
I
saw that.
So I think you should feel the same about your brand as well, that you're so proud of it. It gives you this energy. You love it. If it, of course, it's really hard to grow a business. It's super hard, and it's not always fun. And many times and weeks and months, even, you might feel like I hate this. So that's normal. But still, there should be something about when you maybe open your website or you open the stuff that you've been building, and you're like, wow, this is like, this looks good, it feels good, the clients are make me go so happy. Like this morning I was up super early. It's Saturday now, right? So I don't really like work on Saturdays, but I woke up very early. I was thinking about one of my private customers. I'm so excited because she's going through a huge transformation. And I was just like, writing down some notes. I'm like, I need to tell her this because she needs to do this. And I got this idea for a funnel that we're going to build it. I can't stop obsessing about my business and about my colleagues now and my clients. That's when you know.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my God, you're delivering like gold here. That's when you know, when you're like, feel that vibration, right?
Yeah.
Even if some days like,
or weeks.
or months, as you said.
Yeah.
You go in a fog and then you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, I just love this. Wow. Thank you so much, Tiina. So tell me more, like, before, because I know your daughter is waiting for you for something special, but the last question, you already responded about it. What was the big payoff for you in terms of going on the right path? I heard it, I think. But
yeah, exactly. So what I maybe I didn't complete this. So what we did then, after 1 year of not dealing with that business, was that I got this again, and I was like, hang on, I'm really good at driving traffic and driving clicks and driving sales. So I am going to put together a super simple system, Facebook advertising, and I'm going to sell that whole stock. So we had a maybe 2 weeks period, and we sold, tens of thousands of monies worth of physical goods. They were flying out of the stock. So we emptied thousands and thousands and thousands of items from a stock. And it was really nice. We basically went plus minus zero because we were basically selling it like at a 90% off or something, and you pay for ads and all. But it was, we did some money there, so it was like we made more than we used in advertising, but I emptied almost the whole stock, and that was a really good thing. So as I said, I could have probably sold the brand, I could have probably, but I don't have time for that. It wasn't my.
You were done. We're done with it.
I was done with that. So yeah, so that's what. Yeah.
So what would you say that, something that you thought was true at the time about business, building a business, that now you know for sure that it was proven wrong? What is the one thing?
Oh, I think that thing that I thought that if I'm really good at my job as a professional, whatever, like a professional, like I was an IT consultant, or, it could be accountant or whatever, that building a business based on that would be a piece of pie, a piece of cake. And it's, now I know, and it's just completely, it's like, we all good at what we do, most of us. We've had 20, 30 years of experience working professionally. Building a business is another type of thing. It's not the same thing. So, and there is, of course, there are recipes, and there are, that's what I do with my growth system. We give the recipes for business owners depending on what they want, like what they want, where they are right now, what are the advantages, and then we build step by step a lot of things. But there's still never one way of doing things. And even if you logically and intellectually know something, it does not mean that that you have tried. And I see this, and I'm sure you see this as well, as we are fellow marketers and digital specialists. A lot of people go to all kinds of places online, and they say like, oh, well, I've been reading about this funnel, and I know about that, and I know I need to do webinars, and I need to do that. And then when we start actually building this, because we go like hands deep in, and we like wire those things together, and then sometimes I can see that they are a little like, well, yeah, I know about that. And then I was like, show me your numbers. What so how many leads did you get in, and how is this performing, what is your, all the rates? And then they're like, oh no, I haven't built it, but I know that is what I need to do. And I'm like, well, let's come back to the floor,
Action.
We all into the action, get your hands dirty, come to the floor. This is where we all are playing this. We are doing this work, all of us. We're testing stuff, we're failing, we're testing again. And then and that's the only way we can get results. So that's it. So that was two things. So
I love that. Get your hands dirty. That's the main recipe first.
Exactly. And then you have to understand and know about those things, and even and it's not, and I'm sure you see this as well a lot, particularly with women. They might feel very anxious and worried about technology and all that, and
big time.
And I understand it, and at the same time I don't, because my experience is now, my background is in engineering. I've been in technology for 20 years. So, but my experience is also this, that women are brilliant at understanding how technology works, because we are very logical. So, and we but we have this default fear, just like I had default fear with my sales. Like, I don't do sales. I don't know how to do sales. The women many times have a default fear that I don't understand technology, and technology is complex and difficult. And I say it's not. It's actually not that difficult, because once you start building the processes and what is it that you want to achieve, and then you start looking at those things. You don't even need to. You don't have to be the one who is building the things, but you have to be a qualified buyer of the right tool and software and service from somebody who is going to do that. And and what I love to see with my clients, who are all, creators or coaches or consultants and all kinds of business owners, all of them will, after a while, they say like, this wasn't so bad. This wasn't so difficult. And in fact, this is super interesting and fun. So now I feel comfortable in having conversations with different type of maybe.
I think it's just a type of resistance, because when you don't know the behind the scene of social media or marketing in general, it's like you see it from the other side. But once you know the logics behind it, because it's kind of always the same, right? Awareness, attract, convert. It's always kind of the same ideas. But once you know how you put these things in place and you see it for yourself, you're like, oh, this is what's happening. It's not just magic and weirdo people doing some tick.
No. Yeah. Exactly. And then and the best thing, we're like, holy moly, it's working. Like,
that's it. Yeah,
it's working.
What I like the most is that when they come back, and I love my ladies for that. They say, oh, someone that I don't know bought my stuff, or book my webinar, or book my coaching. And it's like, yes, that's what it's supposed to do. Like, to go to the unknown, the people you don't know, when you get introduced to them through technology, which is awesome. We are so lucky to be at that age of I guess the earth. I know that it's not easy for everybody, but for us, like having all those tools for us, it's just amazing. So
it is. It is. And they're getting, it's just, it's also, it's changing so much all the time. So you have to understand what it means actually, and keep up with the development, and knowing that what would work in your specific industry and your specific business model and all that. But once you figure that out, then whenever there are some changes, it's not that scary anymore, because then you can take the same process, you just change maybe a way of how you deliver something, and you change it to another platform, but you have a process, and particularly have a process how to actually drive the revenue or profit or whatever you're doing with that tool. So that's always just very important, like what is happening under the like a waterline of if you look at like an iceberg or something, like you see the top of the iceberg, and that's all the socials and stuff that's going on. But everything was under the hood, that's where where the magic happens, with all the automations and communication and connections and those things. And once those are in place, then we can change those top level activities a lot. Still work. So
So the 20-day free growth program, tell us more about that before we wrap up. Like, so who is it for?
So that is for mainly for a person who feels a little bit maybe a little lost with what the next step would be. So that's what my system does. So we are very big on doing the right things at the right time on the growth journey. So if you are at a certain place, let's say, for example, you are fairly beginner, and in our terms, when we talk about the beginner, you don't need to be a beginner as an entrepreneur, but it means that you have not started building your sales and marketing assets, your digital assets. And that is something we do at the beginning of the journey. We call this the essentials. So your messaging, your brand, your sales marketing systems, your content system. So and then of course, once that is done and we start getting numbers and we can see what works, what doesn't, they have customers and clients and they want to scale up, then we go to the next level, business modeling and infrastructure. So this system, and that is the system that we teach and help our clients implement. And the 20-day program is an overview of all of that. So it's we have different sessions every day that go like step by step through the thinking process and the specific activities that you need to think about and invest in and implement at that stage when you are there, before you start thinking about anything else, and also knowing when it's time to gear up and like, okay, now this works, now I need to start looking at those, because those things that took you here are most likely not the things that you're going to need to focus on when you go to the next level, whatever that means for each individual person.
Okay.
So that is it's a progress. It's an overview of the Avenue Curve system.
Okay.
And there are some longer sessions as well about business planning and strategies and rituals and numbers and all that geeky stuff that I love.
Okay, so it's on your website and it's a free, right? It's a free program. Yeah. Okay. So it's right at the bottom, and I'll put it in the comments below the video, wherever you're watching the video. And if you are listening to the podcast, it will be in the description of the podcast as well.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, and you can just sign up and kickstart it anytime, and it will give you 1-2 things every day for 20 days to complete and walk through. So you will have a really good clarity on how your growth system would look like.
Love it. So last question and we're done. How does social media helps you grow your business? I love it because it's like it's your world, right? But it's not for everybody's. But for you, I'm like, I can't wait to ask her that question.
Well, to be honest, I'm a paid advertising girl. So I've been running now many years without not so much social media, because I like to build assets and I like to automate stuff. So for sure, if we say that paid advertising, Facebook, and that would be, as a social media, for sure, that's something that has been, growing my business. And that's what we do all the time. So we have all these systems in place, lead generation and all that. But now what I really love about social media, particularly this type of activities and all the organic that I've been investing more time, and we are intentionally starting getting into more of investing more in that now that I have a team in place. I have time to do these things. It's about connection. It's about being there and showing how we are and how I am, and with all the quirkiness and the craziness and the ideas and personality and my dialect. I mean, I'm not English speaker, but it's like these things. So getting that connection, because what I can see that a lot of people, for example, when they join a conversation with me, they want to join the program, so start working with us. And when we have a call, then they go like, they say many times, like, you just feel so normal. Like, really? Yeah, I mean, not that normal, but just you get this connection, and it just feels so natural when you already have learned what the person is good at. So the professional thing, like what I do, my skills, my expertise. And then you also get the connection and see how the person is, because particularly in coaching, it's really important. Like we have a deep relationship with all our customers, and I know them very well and they know. So it's really important that our personalities fit together. Otherwise, we just cannot work together. And it happens sometimes that we start working with a person and then we maybe just need to quit because we see that, sorry, this is not a match, and some others, they stay for years because it's
a match. It's a match for life.
And it's like a no-brainer. We are partners. It becomes a partnership in that sense. We talk through things together, and it's just natural, of course, like as natural it is to have an accountant or somebody who is helping you with those numbers. You have a business coach who you can have conversations with and talk through all the decisions and all that, because the decision making is the most difficult in business, I think, to make, knowing like, what should I do? Like, I don't know. Is this right?
I love that you talk about partnership, because one of my clients, she calls me her partner. Like she doesn't even say I'm her coach. She's a partner. And I think it's true, because we're so involved and weaved into the hard decisions, right?
I absolutely see us as well being a partners for our customers, and we take it. I mean, we also have a business model now. What we started last year is that we started certifying business coaches into our methodology, and now that has been growing super fast. So we have now a team of 10 or so coaches, and I work with them, they work with their customers, and they are implementing my tools and systems and methods and all that, and they can then, they are licensing my intellectual property, and they are also running our programs, and so we have a lot of fun together. So that's like the core team of the delivery team. And what is also fantastic, because since we don't employ the coaches, we simply let them license and use everything that we have. But I focus on the product creation and building a lot of systems around and a product and developing our offerings, and they can get out there and just have like a ready-made white labeled solutions, and they can coach and help the customers grow. So they don't have to think about so much about how to put together a program and how to, all those things that I love, but they don't necessarily do that. So much fun. And that's why when we work together with the customers, so they have no income ceiling either. They are not employed by my company. They can take as many customers as they want, run our very profitable, very scalable programs and products, and we help customers together. So it's really, really, really fun business model.
That's awesome to hear you talking about it, because when I met you, you were at the beginning, you were at the seed level of that idea, and now it's like working super well for you. Congratulations. That was a lot of hard work, I'm sure, to set it up.
But it's so fun, and that's why I get to wake up every morning and feel like this work.
Thank you so much, Tiina, for sharing so much, like the personal stuff, and I love your stories when you walk and you share your ideas. As you say, it's so personal, right? It's so like, it feels like we are with you, right? And when your customers work with you, it's kind of a continuation of what they learned from you on the Instagram story. You're the same person, right?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I kind of forget that we are like live. It's okay. We're just two friends talking business on a Saturday night. Oh, that's right. Should I?
If you guys watch the replay or listen to the podcast and you have a question, or tell us what you resonate the most with, because you went through the different stages, and emotionally and business wise and financially wise, and so what speaks to you the most? Or if you have any questions, let us know, because the more we know, the more we can ask more questions like that to other female entrepreneurs gonna show up on the show. So thank you so much. And I'm gonna, do you have one more thing you want to say before we go?
I think that just keep this in mind, that I think it's worth to do something, even if regardless of your situation. I think that it's really, really worth to have that other thing, even if you are like, I know many in your audience are probably still, I'm just using like air quotes here, but they're in corporate and they are thinking about maybe going to do something and so on. I think it's just do it because, and I know it's easy to say since we are doing it, but it's like, it's not that bloody, serious. Just go out there and try to figure it out. And what I've seen with all the most, successful, whatever success means to everybody, but the people who are doing these things year after year after year, they most likely, most of them don't anymore do the thing that they started with. They have pivoted to something else. So I call it the try business. Like, you have to try with something. Sometimes you might find the right thing and you will want to do that for the rest of your life or whatever, like long term. But sometimes, and many times actually, you try something and you learn a lot of things and they're like, well, this wasn't really right, but I learned. And next time when you think about this mountain and think about the other mountain, which is the right mountain for you, you don't dive all the way to the bottom.
No.
You can actually do a little jump and because you've learned so much.
Yes, I so agree.
Yeah.
And I think what I learned, like not learned, but the clip I have in my head from today is this. I had this idea of consulting in my head. I took a name, I call it a name. I had a package, and then I put a price on it and I went with it. That's how you did it. And then you had various iteration of this. And now it's another thing, but that's how you started. Put a name, I'm going to package, I'm going to help people with this, 1, 2, 3, 4, put a price, and hello, this is me.
Yeah. And I also said that I have this program, which is absolutely not true, because I did not have any program. I only have...
Well, you had it in your head, like I
had it on a paper, yes, but I had no content. I had, but I said, like, because somebody asked me, it's like, can you help me? And then I was like, yes, I can. I need to package it now. Package it. I sold it, and then she said yes. The first person, they were like, well, now we're gonna build it, and then we build it together. And then next one, I said, well, now we have this one, and so it's just go for it.
So it's an amazing advice. Loved it. Thank you so much, Tiina.
Thank you so much.
And then thank you everybody for watching, and I'll put that on Instagram so that everybody can. And I also, so Tiina, I also kept the first part of the video on Instagram, so we'll have 2 videos of you.
Sweet. Exactly. Yes. And anybody who's joining now or later, feel free to, if you have any questions, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me. I love LinkedIn, so find me on LinkedIn, send me a message, ask me anything, or send me just email. So it's super easy to find me and just ask anything if you have any questions, and I'm happy to chat about your great idea. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ciao.
Thank you. It's pizza time. Bye-bye.